Hi, everyone. First, I'd like to thank you for joining us in today's cybersecurity webinar. My name is Maureen Akrabawi. I am the acceler founder and CEO. Today's webinar will be delivered by my colleague, Luai, from the cybersecurity department at acceler. But first, please allow me to give you a quick intro about acceler. So acceler is located in Waterloo, Ontario in Canada, and we help businesses accelerate their success through technology, and we aim to become the one-stop technology provider for our clients at an affordable price. We also provide multi-levels of cybersecurity protection for businesses, and we provide services like vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, managed security services. Once again, thank you for joining us, and without further ado, I will hand over to Luai.
Thank you, Moeen, for this very comprehensive and for this very amazing introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us on this webinar. My name is Luai, and I'll be your host today. First things first, I would like to introduce myself as your host. I'm a certified ethical hacker. I've worked in ethical hacking, penetration testing, and cybercrime detection. I'm a security researcher. One of my researches is about Microsoft Teams, considering that Microsoft Teams has been the major and big difference that happened in online education. So many people are considering it these days. So one of my researches is about a common vulnerability that was found in Microsoft Teams. I'm an offensive security certified professional. For those of you who don't know what offensive security is, it is a company that created a Linux distribution called Kali. Kali is basically a penetration testing and a hacking environment that is used by ethical hackers, that is used by educators, by students who learn cybersecurity. I'm a technology author. One of my books that will be published soon is Memory Management in Terms of Programming for Computer Engineers. It discusses several topics regarding the memory in terms of programming. I'm a cross-platform developer. I've worked as an Apple developer. I've worked as a Python developer, especially when it comes to creating security tools and developing the best solutions for security issues. Now, I'd like to talk about the contents. I'd like to talk about the topics that we are going to be discussing in this awareness session today. The first one is the rights and wrongs in setting up Windows Server 2012. Today, a lot of server owners don't know how to put the right configurations and the right setup when creating the servers. And this is a very, very dangerous thing, as we are going to be discussing later on in this webinar. The danger of using corporate emails and social media. Well, today a lot of people just use their corporate emails. For example, my name, Louis, at, for example, accelerco.com. I'm using it to log into Facebook. Actually, I'm not using it to log into Facebook, but it's just a metaphor. Um, well, what could be dangerous about this? We're going to be discussing this in this webinar. And lastly, common vulnerabilities that almost everyone has. Now, people are full of vulnerabilities, same as systems. Actually, if you want to talk about it, if you want to think about it, um, the vulnerabilities in the systems, they come from people, because in the end, you're the user. You're the one who set up your environment. You're the one who set up your infrastructure. So if you don't know how to do the right configuration, then you're going to end up in trouble. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start talking about the first topic, which is rights and wrongs in setting up Windows Server 2012. Now, for this particular one, I've provided a virtual machine. Well, actually, two virtual machines. The first one is about Windows Server 2012, and the second one is going to be about a Linux machine. Now, the Windows Server 2012 is going to be the victim, and the Linux machine is going to be the attacker. So we're going to see how this would actually be an impact on me as a server owner. Right, so as we can see right here, we're in Windows Server 2012, and we've got the Server Manager tab right here. So in the Server Manager, we can actually, let's just maximize this. We can see that we have some certain configurations set on, and some of them are set off. Now, I'm going to be discussing only one of those, which is Internet Explorer Enhanced Security Configuration. As you can see over here, it is off. Now, some of you might wonder, well, what does this do exactly? Well, I tell you. Now, if you're setting this as off, you can actually access any website through your Internet Explorer. But if you're setting it as on, then you're not going to be able to access everything. You're just going to have a list of, or let's just say a whitelist of some certain websites that you're going to be able to access. Now, having this as off, we can actually see that if I want to go to Facebook, for example, like www.facebook.com, I can actually log in to Facebook without any problem. Now, the purpose of this demonstration is the following. Today, lots of people actually consider cracking, and cracking is basically getting an app or a program that is paid for free. So for example, let's just imagine this situation. I'm a server owner, and I have a server that I'm running a game on with a database of a lot of players, and I want to protect this database by any means possible. Now, the way of doing this is probably by installing an antivirus, especially that antiviruses today come with extensions for browsers that tell you, oh, well, this website is trusted, that website is not trusted. That would be something cool, right? I'd probably think about getting Kaspersky or Bitdefender. But there's a problem. It is paid. How can I get this for free? Well, I can just go to YouTube and say, oh, how to install Kaspersky for free without paying a single cent. And you're going to end up having a video actually explaining that to you. And it is actually legit. It's working. But there is a problem. So in this demonstration, we're going to imagine that I'm going to be installing this cracked anti-malware on my Windows Server 2012. And remember, I can access this website because I have the Internet Explorer Enhanced Security configuration as off. So I can actually access any website I have. So let's go ahead and take a look at this index of downloads. Now, this is just a simple website that I created, and I'm hosting it using an Apache 2.4.43 Debian server. Now, it says over here that, oh, there's a cracked anti-malware.executable file. Let's go ahead and download it. Like, it's just pretty good to get some things for free when they're paid. Now, well, as you can see over here, Windows Server is complaining about this. It says, this program is not commonly downloaded and it could harm your computer. But unfortunately, most people just ignore this message. So I might as well just go right here and run this application. Now, this application is an application that I coded. It doesn't necessarily do anything except running in the background. It's just for demonstration only. I'm not going to be using any other application to avoid lawsuits. So let's just use our imagination and, for example, imagine that, oh, this is an antivirus with a graphical user interface, and I'm running everything and everything is going well, but in the background, in the veil of all of this, there's something happening. Now, this Debian machine over here, this Debian guy, if I actually do something called exploit, now this exploit, what will actually happen is it is actually binding this cracked anti-malware to this attacker's machine. So if I go ahead and run this all over again, as you can see over here, I have an open session. Now, some people might wonder, okay, what do you mean by an open session? What is all of this? What's happening around here? I'll tell you. So if I go here, and if I say sessions, and if I say sessions and then 1, we're actually in the victim's machine. Whoa, wait, how's that even possible? All right, well, I'll show you something. So say, for example, that I want to do a screenshot. Well, as you can see over here, it says, oh, screenshot saved to this location over here. So if I go to home, as it says over here, it's home, and then, oh, it's right here. There you go. I took a screenshot of the victim's machine, and it only happened when I downloaded that cracked anti-malware application. So it's just pretty dangerous. It is pretty dangerous. Now, some people might say, okay, well, they can take screenshots as much as they want. Who cares? I'll tell you something. So, say for example that you're a corporate and you're running on Facebook, and you want to log into Facebook actually. So let's go to Internet Explorer over here, and let's go to Facebook, and let's attempt to log in. But before that, if we go to the attacker's machine, I want to do something like clear. Oh, okay. Okay, so I want to do something like screen share. So screen share is going to show me everything that's happening on the victim's machine. So what is the benefit of that? If I go right here, and if I open this HTML with my browser, which is already running over here, as you can see with me, it actually did display a live show of the victim's machine. So if I just change to another tab, right here, I can actually see that the victim changed to another tab. Now, by doing this, I can actually, let's just say that the victim went to Facebook. I can see that the victim is going to Facebook, and I can go back to my terminal and just drag this up over here, and I can do something like key scan. So what does this do? Well, if I go right here, and if I say that, okay, well, my email is test@test, and then my password is 123. If I go back here, and if I do the same, but if I dump the keystrokes that the victim did, I can actually see the password. It is actually test, and there's this right shift at test123. So this is the password, and this is the email. I was actually able to crack those just by watching what the victim is doing. Now, this is just pretty dangerous. It is pretty massive and pretty dangerous when you're not knowing what you're doing on your computer, whether it was a personal computer, whether it was a Windows server, when you're not taking in consideration all the possible safety measurements that you can do, you're just going to be in grave danger. Now, this was the first topic that I wanted to discuss in this awareness session, and I hope that after this, nobody's going to consider downloading cracked applications anymore. I mean, I personally won't. So the second topic that I want to be talking about right here is actually using corporate emails in social media accounts. Now, some people might argue, okay, now, like, that's fine. It's an email. It's like any other email, and it's a password that I'm the one who knows it. Nobody else does. It's just me. Well, I tell you, no. If you're using your corporate email, or if you're using, like, for that matter, your personal email, but I'm focusing on corporate because, everything is just connected. Everything is just integrated with your corporate email, your company, your databases, for example. Everything is just integrated with your corporate email. So for this demonstration, I'd like to share something with you, and it is a website, as you can see over here. It is called Have I Been Pawned? Now, this website shows you if you've been in a data breach or not. Some people might say, okay, what is a data breach? You're just saying too many things today. You've told us about cracked applications, and I'm never going to download a cracked application anymore. And now you're telling us about data breaches. What do you mean by a data breach? Well, I'm going to take a volunteer, and this volunteer is going to be me, and I'm just going to put my email address over here, but please do not consider hacking me. don't do anything to me. I'm a peaceful person. Don't ever try to hack me or something. Actually, you won't be able to. But yeah, I disagree with that because I'm already hacked. As you can see over here, I've been breached on 4 websites. And those websites are Canva, Collection 1, Game Salad, My Repo Space. Those websites, they actually leaked the following. They leaked my email address. They leaked my geographic location, my name, my password, my usernames, lots and lots of things. Now, this is dangerous. So what does this mean anyway? Well, it means that anybody on the deep web, or in other terms, the dark web, can actually access those information found right here. Passwords, names, email addresses, geographic locations, and all those things. Now, this is dangerous. Imagine that you're using a corporate email. So for example, my name at my company's name. Now, this is dangerous because, well, I have lots of things linked to my email. So how can I avoid this? Well, you can't actually, because websites like Facebook or LinkedIn, they just get breached every now and then. So the only solution for you to avoid those things is to just monitor your email, to keep track of what's happening to your email on a website like this website, for example, Have I Been Pawned, or for that matter, on Firefox Breach. Right, so talking about this, we can move on to the last topic in our awareness session, which is going to be about common vulnerabilities that almost everybody has. So those common vulnerabilities, if you just go back here, you need to pay attention to these. So the first thing that you need to pay attention to is having anti-malware. Now, the program that I downloaded on Windows Server 2012, it is actually a malware. And for those of you who don't know what a malware is, it is a specific type of virus. It is a virus, but it could spy on your computer. It could spy on your device. It could damage your device. Malwares are just tons and tons of types. Using the same password for everything. So imagine something. Imagine that you had an account on, let's just say, a certain website, and you use the same password on everything. You use the same password on that website. You use the same password on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Gmail. So if one of those websites got breached, then your password, all of your accounts, is going to be breached. So this is pretty dangerous. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is changing passwords. Now, how to avoid this situation? Well, just change your password every now and then. So if somebody else breached your password, and if it's accessible on the deep web, the only way for you to save yourself is by changing it. Every now and then, every 3 months, every 2 months, you decide. But it is important that you keep track of your account and of your passwords, and most importantly, of your system and your computer. Now, this was a simple demonstration of the topics that we discussed in this awareness session. It was pretty fun, and it was pretty amazing having you in this webinar. Thank you so much for your interest, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you.